Hey guys, it's Noryokai here, back with some, just general discussion about myself and Anthem and Interceptors, like what's going on. I realized I could have done this a little earlier, but I figured after, a ton of time in game, that I'd start talking about this, and this is just some Grandmaster 2 gameplay to, keep an interesting background going on. Essentially I'm 25. I am a computational neuroscientist. I'm currently unemployed, however, but I did a lot of work doing research on dementia and like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, essentially looking at brain differentials using statistical analyses along with image analyses, and I did a lot of the coding for processing images so that we can see differentials in gray matter and white matter and so forth. But I've been unemployed for quite a bit now, and I've also just been kind of like no-lifing some games, and I've happened to just really enjoy this game despite its problems. But I've just been non-stop with the Interceptor since the February 15th launch for Premier members, and I've just so far I've gotten over I'd say over like 120 hours on the Interceptor, and then I tried playing around with some of the other classes, but at this point nothing's like the Interceptor. So for instance, we'll go over the best, like what I view as the current best build overall for the Interceptor, if you're looking at just kind of pure damage output. And that would be, you're looking at the Venom Bomb Tempest Strike. So you've got the, it's good at multi-target. It's fairly good at multi-target. The Axe Kick version of the Tempest Strike does hit in a fairly large radius. And the Venom Bomb, while it doesn't do, the insane burst that Tempest Strike does, it still, it does a good little bit of tick damage. And also, when you're talking about the acid effect, you're talking about improving your group's damage. Like, everyone gets the improved damage when there's acid applied to the targets. So, you're also just helping your group out. That being said, there are a lot of people running all Interceptor groups, which I'm not a huge fan of. Namely because right now, like, Interceptor seems to be the highest damage output there is right now, without any kind of, any sort of like bugs or exploits or anything like that. Which is like good. I think the damage state that they're at with this is a very good, point, and I hope that they actually raise classes up to this damage rather than kind of nerf the damage for Interceptor. I think it'll just go better overall. And I think they just need to kind of work on some of the synergies that some of the components have with certain classes. I know someone I play with who's really into Ranger doesn't like how everything synergizes with their Masterwork components, so essentially they've swapped to Interceptor because everything just has a nice synergy. You can essentially keep a lot of buffs up that just overall improve your damage and give you those 50, 60, or even 60, 70k Tempest Strikes. Even without ideal like rolls on things. And that brings me to the inscriptions, which are kind of make or break in this game. So the inscriptions obviously need some work on the consistency and the way that they roll. It's very easy to get an item that's just like, wow, this completely changes how this ability works because I'm adding a ton of damage to this. Which is cool, because it means that like sometimes other builds can become very viable because you're increasing the damage. The downside is, the way the rolls work right now, you can essentially get a very good inscription or a very bad inscription. And because of that, like, it makes crafting kind of feel lackluster, because there are times where I've crafted, like 5 Masterworks, and it's just like, wow, all of them rolled terribly. I got autocannon damage on an Interceptor item. I got, elemental damage on something that's purely physical. Like, that's not good. So sometimes you get those good rolls. Obviously, physical or elemental damage can flip-flop based off of the actual piece you're using. In this instance, we'll say we're looking at, the Interceptor's Tempest Strike. So ideally, the physical, if we just went for straight physical damage with this, because obviously that's what Tempest Strike scales off of. Plus, if you get like a 200% gear charge, you get some ultimate damage, ultimate speed, even like repair amount's good. Like you're talking about getting like really good inscription rolls on your on even just like a masterwork. And imagine like getting this on a legendary would be like insanely amazing to get that, because if you get rolls like this, like you're talking about increasing your Tempest Strike damage to like astronomical levels. Like I could honestly see if you get a lot of these good rolls, like you could even get gear damage. I wouldn't be surprised to see if someone maybe gets like, you know, gear charge. Like if you get like 200% gear charge on a Tempest Strike, plus 250% physical damage, plus if it's on a legendary, because you got that lucky somehow, even just those two rolls, I could see you doing 80-90k with a single Tempest Strike. You know, fire damage included, I'd say. And if you have 3 charges of those, like, that's insane. You could get up to 320,000 to, you know, like in the course of 2 to 3 seconds. You know, 3 back-to-back strikes at 80k. You know, 4 even, because essentially by the time you cast all 3 strikes, you'll probably have another one back. It's a very short cooldown, especially with Conductive Lattice. Like, the damage output on it can be astronomical. And yeah, no wonder people are running this build, because it just does so much damage. But like I said, I hope they scale their stuff up rather than down. At the same time, you can spend the entire game and be extraordinarily unlucky, and instead of getting good builds, you get bad inscriptions. Especially for Tempest Strike. If you're looking at just Tempest Strike, you get elemental damage on it, it's shit. You know? That's not good. You're not doing anything with the elemental strike. Okay, maybe you're increasing the fire damage on the masterwork component, but that's kind of just fluff to it. That's not really that big number that you get to see. I mean, granted, you know, you're talking about with fully buffed with sigils and acid damage and all this other stuff, you know, like fire without any sort of elemental damage I've been seeing hit for, you know, up to 10k. So that's good. You know, you'll get even higher numbers with that. But, you know, that's not where the main damage is coming from. You're talking about Tempest Strike, which is doing a ton of damage. And then, like, you could also just get, like, ammo drop rate. You could increase your Venom Bomb, which isn't really, you know, that's not your main source of damage. That's namely for spreading acid effect. You know, you could get, like, a ton of weapon damage. You could, like I said, you can get autocannon damage. And that just, you know, it doesn't feel good when you get these masterwork components that just are so poorly rolled, where you're like, alright, here is literally one masterwork ember. Big whoop. Oh, I need 25 of these to craft. Oh, on top of that, nothing gives you any of the chimeric compounds or chimeric alloy, and it takes so much. For one masterwork, you're talking about 100 compound and 50 alloy, which I really wish they would kind of balance those to be equivalent. Because it's really annoying to just kind of like go through compound really quickly, and I seem to be gaining them at a relatively similar rate. Then I feel like, you know, you use these to craft the weapons. Why aren't you extracting that? You're literally just extracting like the ember and like an interceptor part or the weapon part. And that just, to me, it doesn't make sense that we're not also getting the other components, and also when the weapon parts and interceptor parts aren't really being like used all that much. I have something like, I think I'm in the realm of like nearly 5,000 interceptor parts, and you know, each masterwork I believe only uses 50. So like, you know, like it's not really like, maybe if they made them use more, like yeah, I'd be okay with that, but I really think they need a better ways of getting the chimeric compound and alloys out of just, you know, salvaging gear. It seems like it would make sense to me. That being said, you could also use that harvest bonus gear to go into free play and get some good numbers out of that for collection. But yeah, like they just need to make some improvements, which just kind of leads me to my next point. This game does need improvements for loot rolls and drop rates. You know, I play anywhere between 9 to 12 hours every day since launch on the 15th. I've been playing a lot. I've taken 2 days off since. just, you know, for social reasons and so forth. But, like, there are so many, I've gotten so many legendaries that are literally the worst. There's no point in me keeping them because my masterwork's way better. I am instantly salvaging them because they're inscription rolls. They need to improve that, and they have stated that they are improving this, and it's going to be nice to see, you know, getting more of those legendaries that actually roll towards, you know, something that is useful, as opposed to just being like, well, my masterwork's, you know, 1,000 times better than that, so there's no point in me even using this. Well, here's to one masterwork ember and some interceptor parts for this ability. Like, it doesn't make sense. And on top of that, obviously you want a master, or you want a legendary, you know, like sudden death tempest strike that, you know, has that 250% damage, has the 200% gear charges, has the ultimate speed, has, you know, even like repair amount or, you know, gear damage, and, you know, like any of those is just huge because you're increasing the base damage, which then increases how much the percentile is giving towards your gear. It's just massive. It's one of those things that it'd be really satisfying to get one, and that should be kind of where the farm entails. But when you're constantly getting these pieces that are just god-awful, that you just like, alright, I'm salvaging, and then the salvaging is kind of even lackluster, you know, it's very disheartening. Like, I feel like, oh, cool, I got a legendary, I can't wait to see what it is. Oh, it's garbage. Well, that sucks. Alright, I guess, you know, maybe the next one will be good. I've had that scenario more often than not where most of my legendaries are DE'd. I don't think I'm running a single legendary on any of my best builds because they're just kind of worthless. Their rolls are bad, and I can't really roll them to be better because there's no legendary crafting mechanic at the moment, and it's just a shame. Other things that I've just kind of general thoughts now, as opposed to getting away from like gear and builds and so forth, is, you know, the bugged missions are starting to get insane, namely with the quick play. I keep going into quick play and I keep getting bugged missions, and it's just become very, like, it's been giving me a headache. there's so many missions I go in to do. Like, I'm trying to get the Challenges of Valor done, or yeah, the Challenges of Valor, and I'm just having trouble because, you know, I'm only getting like, I'm considering this even lucky. I'm getting a third of my missions to actually work, where the other 2/3 seems to just kind of bug out, and it's really frustrating to get this done, to the point where I almost don't want to do it, especially when I'm on stream and it's like, oh, sorry guys, I have to back out and, you know, go through yet another loading screen and then load again, and then maybe that's bugged. So sometimes I'll get like 4 missions back to back that are bugged, and there's no way to have the like even have like the squad leader like reset it or something to like essentially have everyone respawn. I know that could be trolly, but, you know, even if you just let it something that it's like squad leader can reset or like respawn everybody once every like 3 or 5 minutes, like it could just be an easy way to be like, all right, here's an easy way to reset it so that you can actually do this, because there's no means to really chat aside from VoIP, but I don't want the VoIP on when I'm streaming, and, you know, people can be really loud or really quiet and just say, you know, crazy stuff on there. I don't need that on my Twitch. And like, that just, you know, it just makes me feel, you know, like kind of like shit when I'm just like streaming. It's like, sorry, I can't give you content, guys. I'm literally playing the loading screen, and did I get a bug roll? Like, what's behind door number 2 or mission number 2? Oh, it's a bug. Surprise! Reload. And then on top of that, like, I feel like they could also do some things with their they definitely need to do a lot of massive improvements to their UI, that is without a doubt. But some of the things I would like to see in their like character screen page is just a summary of all the bonuses that you're getting from your gear. Like, that would just be so nice, just to see, oh, how much gear damage percentage am I getting? How much mouse 5 damage increase am I getting? How much harvest bonus am I getting? It would be a lot easier to, you know, run those, you know, luck. You know, a lot of people have, like, a luck set to just do farming with, or they have a harvest set to just do, like, you know, actually farming components. Like, there's so many things you can do to improve it, and it's just unfortunate that it's not in there, and I'd really like to see it. I'd really like to see them fix a lot of their UI issues, but, you know, they need to work on improvement. That being said, I think there's a lot to this game. I think they have a good foundation, and that they can actually do a lot with it. I'm really excited to see how they take it. And they're really keen on, like, community feedback. So the more you guys talk about it, the more you guys are out there, you know, posting these things, like, the better it's just gonna be. So yeah, like, I hope you guys enjoy this. Feel free to, you know, comment. I'll probably give, like, a few times I'll give my thoughts on things. I might go into and show some more of the higher, like, stronghold gameplay, and talk about, essentially, about, like, what I like and dislike about certain portions of it, and how I feel it works overall. And also just kind of give you my general thoughts on how I play the Interceptor around these high-level gameplays, and, you know, maybe talk about group setup and other things. You know, I have a whole bunch of ideas, so just let me know your thoughts and leave them in the comments below, and take care.